Coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas, where the Toros, now 8-0, looking to make themselves 9-0 here at the Stockyards, and they are taking on the Minnesota Legend, who are hoping to get into the top spot in the Central Division. Hello, everybody. Ethan Muslin here alongside my partner, Alden Bleeker. Alden, we talked about the Toros here being undefeated. They're a half game back of Alamo City right now in the South standings. A real tight battle there for control of that division. But Minnesota's in control of their own destiny tonight. 3-5, currently in the top spot in the Central Division with a half game separating everybody there. This is a crucial game, not just for the Toros to extend their streak, but for Minnesota to pull out of the pack and try to get something going here.
Yeah, absolutely. Fort Worth and Alamo City both into the playoffs, at least with a wild card spot because of the Vancouver loss to San Diego last night, and both strong contenders for the Southern title. If you're Minnesota, this is a game you really need to win. Of course, another game happening in our same block. It is Tulsa against Indianapolis, and should Minnesota lose, the winner of that game would then take the lead in the Central Division. Major playoff implications for both teams in this game.
I'm going to take a quick standby here as we're about to get underway in just a second. We're going to get some technical things sorted out. We'll take a quick little break here. We're going to take care of some quick tech issues here, and then we'll come right back for opening kickoff. All right, welcome everybody back to the SFL here on YouTube. We've got everything all sorted out. We are ready for football here in Fort Worth, Texas, as we talked about earlier today. We talked about a lot of really big implications for these matchups. Now, my question for you, Alden, looking at the stats for both of these squads, Minnesota, top team on offense, I'm sorry, Fort Worth, top team on offense, top team on defense. Minnesota's almost there.
Yeah.
But they haven't gotten enough to get over the top. They struggle against the rush. They struggle against, they have a little bit of trouble in their passing and rushing defense, but they allow fewer points. Is there anything that they can do to try to knock down this Fort Worth offense?
Oh boy, I mean, it's so tough. I mean, it's not just the fact that Fort Worth have such, a really strong offense. I mean, coming into this game rather, with the best net point total in the league at plus 151. Current standing record is plus 201. That was plus 207. That was London in season 19. I think you gotta hold on to the ball, and Colin Hart comes into this game.
Loss of the football right in the opening kickoff. We were talking about ball control, but Miller holds on to it. Whoa, an already audacious start for Fort Worth as they lost the opening kickoff, but it falls right back into the hands of Fort Worth, and they're going to start out in pretty rough territory. They're going to start on the 29.
Well, this is exactly what has been, so lethal for Fort Worth, is their ability to generate turnovers. And you got to hold on to it. If you're Minnesota, you got the best rushing offense in the league in terms of touchdowns, and make the most out of your time with the ball.
They're going to start this opening drive with J.Z. Bacon. He's going to run up the middle for about 4 yards. Let's get a quick introduction into the Fort Worth offense. Marcus Dunhill, your quarterback. J.Z. Bacon, the halfback. Aaron Alexander, fullback. Wide receivers, Cade Stevens, Charlie Baker, and Stephen Hacker. Tight ends are Robert Garrett Jr. and Rochelle Johnson. At the tackle position, Emilio Panda, and guard Frank Burks. Bacon going to try to roll to the outside, and not going to get much. He'll get about a yard. Brought down on the 1 yard gain by number 34, Daniel Wright. Going to bring up 3rd and 5.
And this would be pretty much the ideal scenario if you're Minnesota, to get a stop as soon as Fort Worth have their hands on the ball. I mean, Fort Worth's so dangerous with the ball in their hands all season long.
Split back set. They're going to put Aaron Alexander, the fullback, in motion. He's going into the tight end spot on the right. Dunhill to throw, facing a bit of a blitz. Stuttering step a little bit. Oh, tried to pump fake, gets it away, and that'll be an incomplete pass. He got contacted right as he let that ball go. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah, tuck roll coming into effect there, I believe. A good idea to stay in the pocket and throw the pump fake certainly worked, but a risky proposition to throw that as you're hit with the forward arm motion, definitely risking a fumble there. But that is a great stop for Minnesota, and a very important one.
Yeah, it ends up being a 3 and out on the drive. Will be punted away. And Minnesota will take it from about the 22. Return up the middle. And Jay Taylor stays on his feet. Gets to the 35. Decent return on the play. And he'll take the legend up to the 36-yard line. We'll bring out the Minnesota offense for the first time today. Johnny Reno, the man under center. Having a bit of a middle ground season for what it's worth. About in the 12th rank for completion percentage, but having a minus one difference in terms of touchdowns and interceptions. Legends line up with the split back with 3 wide receivers, 2 to the left. Bit of a nickel package here for the Toros. Reno going to hand it off. It'll be to Colin Hart, who will try to roll to his left, and he's brought down for a 2-yard loss by E.K. Vinson. We'll bring up 2nd down and long. The remainder of your Minnesota Legend offense: Colin Hart, running back; Ben Kalia, Deezer Powell, Queeg Mam, Jay Taylor are your wide receivers; Jay Hayden, Jason France are tight ends; and the man on the line, Dusty Wilson, at guard. 2nd down and 12. 3 wide to the right side for Reno. Has time to get away. Throws the ball up the left side and will be completed to Mam, who will get out to around midfield for the 1st down.
Well, to your point, Johnny Reno has not had the most memorable season, but I mean, Colin Hart is really such an important part of the offense for Minnesota. 20 touchdowns, that's the best in the league, and top 10 in yards per touch. I think we're going to see him feature very heavily in the offense today.
Absolutely. So the average so far of 5.6. Yeah, would make him number 8 overall in the running game. Hart only going to get to about the midfield stripe. Brought down on that play by Remington James. Let's introduce the rest of the Fort Worth Toro defense. On the line, Jeff Duffy, Jerry D. Gond, Luther Gond, and John Nevels. Linebackers, E.K. Vincent, Sonny Sky, and J.L. Browning. Corners, Tobias Gordon, Adam Leach, Remington James, and Aiden Davis. On the safety, Ben Stone and Delaney Nash. And Hart going to try to run outside, and again, only gets back to the line of scrimmage. Vincent with the stop one more time. That'll be up 3rd and 9.
Yeah, it's really been tough sledding in terms of running so far. But I mean, when you have such a fearsome secondary, that kind of limits how much you can throw. And so you can take a pretty good guess that a run is coming.
Hart going in motion to the left. It'll be an empty backfield. Vincent in pursuit. Reno facing 4 on the rush. Cannot get away. Ball is out! And it's picked up by Fort Worth. Ball popped out, and it was recovered by Remington James.
Wow, and Fort Worth have done such a fantastic job in terms of generating turnovers this season. That's been such a big part of their success. Only 1 forced fumble on the season. It's mostly come on interceptions, but that is such a fantastic place to pick up their second. They pick up things, it's as if they continued the drive in terms of their field position.
For lack of a better term, it kind of is. They're going to start this one off on the Minnesota 44.
It's like an opponent hand punt almost.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Hand off to Bacon, goes to the left side, gets met up at the 40, and gets planted down by Johnny Bravo for a 5-yard gain. Let's quickly introduce the Minnesota Legend defense. On the line, Mark Mello, Axel Raven, Angela Meerkat, Brookie Burr, Buster Johnson, and Max Knight. Linebackers, Jason Clay, Miles Gibson, Stephen Black, and Juan Mississippi. Corners are Nicholas Frossel, Rick Evans, Cody Griffin, and Johnny Bravo. On the safeties is Daniel Wright and Derek Meerkat. 2nd and 5, 3 tight end set. They will hand off to Bacon. He'll go left side and shakes around a tackle, gets a first down, go to the 30, 25, and out of bounds at the 22. And he is pushed out by Jason Clay, but just nearing the red zone for a first down.
Man, and that is just a classic case that we see all the time in this current era of the space opening up, the blocks widening the area, and gets past the sticks and more. That is just a well-executed run there by Fort Worth.
Brings it out to the 22-yard line. About the 22 and a half, really, on that 17-yard gain. Split backs and 3 wide for Dunhill. He's going to step back, throws it out the middle. Incomplete, out of the hands of the receiver, broken up on the play by Cody Griffin.
And a good idea to throw it up the middle, really establish that as your space, but a good response by the secondary.
Going to try to hopefully hold this offense down to probably a field goal. Dime package for the Minnesota against 4 wide. Dunhill facing 4, throws up the middle, will be completed. That's Stephen Hacker on the catch. He'll bring it down to the 6 for 1st and goal.
And something that I really like that we're seeing from Minnesota already in this game is that they've found a way to send pressure into the pocket and still not sacrifice that secondary. You see Johnny Bravo, the corner, currently leading in terms of passes defense for Minnesota, 5th best in the league with 9. And I think this hybrid defense that you're seeing in Minnesota of send pressure and have coverage down the field is really going to yield dividends here.
Hacker going in motion out to the right slot. It's 1st and goal to go, about 20 feet away from Paydirt. From the eye, Dunhill to throw, quick pass to Hacker, and he's got it! Touchdown, Fort Worth!
And this is another case of a quarterback finding a receiver just on a picture perfect route. We're going to see it again here. This started as single coverage, but just executing the route to perfection, out then in, right in the middle of what should have been double coverage the way it's drawn up.
That'll go down as a 5-play, 44-yard drive for the touchdown. Off to kick the extra point. It is up and good. That's Amelia Rose kicking it in. And that'll make it 7-0 Fort Worth with 5:27 to go here in the first quarter. If you're new to the Simulation Football League, welcome aboard. The SFL is football for everyone. Get off the sideline and start your player today by joining our Discord server at simulationfl.net. Click the Join the Community button and begin your career, or just to meet the stars of the SFL on and off the field. It's never too late to get involved. That kick will go out of the end zone for the touchback. That'll put Minnesota on their own 20-yard line, hoping to not have what they had last time when they lost the ball on the fumble. Hoping to get themselves down the field and hopefully get themselves some points.
Yeah, definitely the inverted hand punt is maybe the worst outcome that you could hope for if you're Minnesota.
Twins to the right here for first down. Bravo has some time, gets it out right side. It'll be completed. Vincalia staying in bounds and will roll down to the 43. It's a 23-yard gain.
Yeah, the narrowest of margins Gallia stays in here. I mean, just the very tip of his pinky toe managing to stay in there. The only reason that this...
Oh,
ooh, boy.
I don't think so. I think this might be I think they might challenge the spot
from that
here.
angle.
Yeah, they're gonna say they're gonna challenge this one, saying he didn't step out of bounds, and I would not be surprised.
Yeah, we can see pretty clearly from the angle we had that he definitely stepped out. But the question now for the rest to decide is where exactly did that occur?
So we'll take a retroactive look at this play presented by Retroid. Get your SFL console at goretroid.com. So he's definitely got enough for the first.
Yeah, both. It looked like from our angle that he was in, but yeah, he steps all the way out here, both feet.
And you have the line judge right there. How does he miss it?
that's out even in college.
So this will be easily overturned, but it will still be a first down regardless of the overturning of the call. Mm-hmm. So it'll still be 1st and 10. It's just a little bit fewer yardage than what they were hoping.
Well, and that's a very kind of high IQ challenge, just because, you know, this is a game that's gonna be very close pretty much the entire time, and you know you got to fight for every yard however you can.
So it will go down as a 15-yard gain for Calia. Bring it first down at the 35-yard line. Twins to the right side in the I formation. 8 in the box for Fort Worth. Reno to throw. Pressure coming, and down he goes. Luther Gond with the sack. That'll come down for a loss of 6.
Man, and that was scary from up here. I can't imagine what it's like actually standing in the pocket, because, I mean, we're going to see here just the tiniest seam in the pocket. Just one little swim move, and the hole is ripped wide open.
Luther Gond, 6'4", 325 in his 7th season here in the SFL. 3rd with Fort Worth. Getting himself into the action. That will give him sack number 3 for the season, by the way. Reno looking for the deep ball, and it will be completed to Jay Taylor. Ends up going for about 18 yards and another first down.
Yeah, and again, up the middle here seems to be kind of the way a lot of these teams are executing their passing plays, taking these routes that run vertically and then towards the inside, and both teams have had their success with it so far.
Another big gain right now. Reno right now 3 for 3 with 49 yards. Doing pretty well for himself, about 16 1/3 per attempt. Calia going in motion to the right side. Nobody following him on man coverage. Reno will throw out that way. It's intercepted by Delaney Nash, who will pick it right off and go to the Fort Worth 49.
And how many times have we said that this season? It's one of the things that they have been absolutely the most successful at. 20 combined interceptions for this defensive unit this season, 6 combined defensive TDs. And I guess if you're Minnesota, that's the good news, is that this did not go all the way back for 6.
Yeah, Delaney is the second highest in terms of terms of pick sixes. He's got 2. Aiden Davis with 3, currently at the top of the league for pick sixes. Dunhill going to hand off to JZ Bacon. He'll get about a couple of yards. He'll bring up second down and 8.
And this is, I think, a big part you have to look at of Fort Worth's success. You know, not only do you get the ball back in good field position, but you just rattle the other team's rhythm, and it's just so hard to get back on the front foot.
Dunhill to throw, has a check down to the right side. That will be
Ooh.
44, Robert Garrett Jr., the tight end, who will go out of bounds for the first.
Yeah, and the coverage is mostly downfield here, so there is just nothing but green grass in front of him. Puts on a move. Looks like from that angle that he stays in there, and that's just a really good read of the play.
Now going into enemy territory, now at the Minnesota 40-yard line after the gain of 11. Dunhill going to have twins to the left, offset eye. A bit of a stack of the box here for Minnesota. They'll hand off to Bacon, going left side. Gets met after a couple of yards. He gets down for a gain of 4.
And again, both of these teams really kind of trying to establish their run game. You know, that's really something that Minnesota has excelled at all season. And JZ Bacon, no slouch himself, 4th best in the league with 17 touchdowns and a 7th best average with 6 yards.
He'll get a few more here, so he gets about 8. Gonna get down to the 28-yard line for another first down.
And this is really what kills you when you're playing against Fort Worth. You know, both of these teams are really doing a good job in terms of moving the ball, but Fort Worth gets the ball back and then they just kind of march down the field. And you know, it's really been so difficult for so many offenses to draw up a way, or and defenses for that matter, to draw up a way to stop it.
Dunhill throwing on first down on the deep drop. Will check it down to Bacon, who's going to get a few yards and gets the first down to the 10, to the 5, and he will push his way to the end zone. Touchdown, Fort Worth!
Wow, and this is just clearly a case of something that they saw in the film room, because this is the second time we've seen this exact play called in response to the exact same defensive formation. You know, Fort Worth, when they see that formation, they know there's going to be double coverage down the field, which means we're going to have a free check down. There's going to be a space of in the 5 to 10 yard range. And again, JZ Bacon catches it and just brings it down the field. That is a fantastic little piece of strategy by Fort Worth.
Bacon gets the 28-yard touchdown pass. Extra point there from Rose is good. That will make it 14-0 Fort Worth, with 2:16 to go here in the first quarter. For all the league highlights, photo galleries, major and minor league stats and leaderboards, community content, and so much more, check out the league's website at simulationfl.net, presented by Football Shift. Stay up to date and explore our past, present, and future. Another kneel down there on the kickoff. He'll take it back to the 20-yard line. Good deep kicks from Amelia Rose here on these kickoffs. Kind of keeping Minnesota in consistent field position.
Yeah, that's definitely a trend to watch, because the first time Minnesota got the ball, they fumbled and recovered. Second time was a touchback and out of the end zone, and this one a touchback with a kneel down.
Reno gonna throw, checks it down over to Colin Hart, who will push out to the right side, get about a 5-yard gain there. Decent first play of this drive, bring up second down.
Yeah, well, and you saw the other team do it, you know, using these checkdowns to respond to the deep coverage downfield, and you know, it can really open up some space if you're able to place it in exactly the right spot.
Split ends and split backs for 2nd and 4. Handoff to Hart, gets caught in traffic, but Kip's pushing ahead. He'll get short of the first down marker. And then let's call it 3rd down in inches now for Minnesota.
Yeah, this is going to be 3rd and extremely short to go. You know, these lines are only imaginary, but you can see there that they're touching each other.
3rd down and a birthday banner to go. Split back, split tight ends once again. A little pressure being shown. Handoff to Hart. He's short!
Ooh.
What a stop there from J.L. Browning, who prevents the 1st down, and it will force Minnesota to punt.
Yeah, and it's so close to the line. I mean, and they're challenging this. I like this aggressive challenge.
This is not a bad idea. They've already won one challenge. So they're going to try, they'll try to get this one here.
I mean, if you fail it, you're punting anyway, and if you succeed, it's basically a 1st down. I like the aggressiveness.
So we'll take another retroactive look at this play presented by Retroid. Get your SFL console at goretroid.com. Remember, the line is not official, and it's the spot of the football.
Oh, it looks like
close.
Yeah, it's it might be
close.
A case where he gets over and then gets knocked back. We'll see.
So it will be a stand call. They confirmed it will be 4th down in inches. So Minnesota loses the challenge, loses the timeout. And that will bring out the punting unit with Mini Mililo here to punt it away. And now Minnesota, not even in the 1st quarter, Minnesota is already out of challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and again, you certainly can't fault the idea. You got to fight for every inch, and such a huge opportunity if that call goes their way. But man, and it's really been so tough to get past this Fort Worth defense. They have been a brick wall.
Punt returned over to the Fort Worth 30-yard line. Let's head over to Indianapolis real quick. We got a game break.
Watch this, Ethan. For opening drive of the game, 11th play, Indy fumbles at the 2. Travis Arthur picks it up, and no one touched him. A 98-yard fumble return for a score, and Tulsa leads 7-0. Back to you.
Unbelievable development there in Indianapolis. Thank you, Cam, as J.G. Bacon running it up the middle. Good for a 5-yard gain, and this is going to be a game. That's going to be a game that Minnesota is going to be keeping keeping an eye on over there on the side. Because if they're not able to come away with the win here tonight, the winner of Tulsa, Indianapolis is going to take that top spot in the Central Division. Hand off to Bacon for 2nd down. Pushes ahead. Looks like he'll get the 1st. They will give him the 1st as he just gets across the midfield stripe. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Toros.
And we saw it there. It was just one little move at the start of the play and just sped across the field there. It kind of looked like when you watch a Super Mario speed run and you're like, how the heck did this guy pick up so much speed with like 2 button presses? But again, just that little one move just creates so much momentum for him.
Another run for Bacon. So he goes left side, shakes one tackle, has a block, gets to the 40, 35, spins around, and out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Incredible run for a 19-yard gain.
Man, and Fort Worth are really determined to keep their foot on the gas pedal. Again, just taking advantage of the space. This block tackle, and again, parting the Red Seas up the middle, creating the space to run.
And that should bring us to the end of the 1st quarter. It has been all Fort Worth here in the 1st. A couple of turnovers in their favor, and they've turned it into points. Toros lead the Legend 14-0. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music here on YouTube. The field come right back. Here we go, quarter number 2 about to get underway here in Fort Worth. Ethan Muslin, Alden Bleeker here on the call tonight. Be a good one here. A lot of Central Division implications in this game and in the one going on beside us in Indianapolis. Cade Stevens in motion over to the right side. It's 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line of Minnesota. And out for Bacon, swims over one man, stays on his feet, and pushes down for a gain of 9. John Neville's there to make the stop, but not after 9 and change on the play.
I mean, it's really something to behold JZ Bacon in this game, and again, we see the bigs up the middle creating the space, makes one block. You can't just one block wasn't enough. I'm just gonna throw out a pancake and creates that space for JZ Bacon to use the speed and to use the agility. Look at this, 46 yards after contact. This game.
Hey, put some pancakes, some bacon, and eggs, and you got yourself some breakfast. 1st and 10 from the 22. Dunhill hands off to Bacon. Runs up the middle for the first down. Easy enough. No problem there. Gets another key block there from Panda.
You might even say it was over easy. But again, it's really been this drive for Fort Worth, just the bigs up front creating so much space for JZ Bacon to operate.
They're just outside of the red zone right now. Dunhill gonna look to throw up the right side. Some up by Kate Stevens will cross the line to gain 1st and goal inside the 10.
Just when you thought that was going to be a dropped pass, this turned into a top 5 highlight play. Just past the outstretched hands, he gets blocked, gets around the block, and manages to drop down to an outstretched Superman position like he's doing yoga. That is a fantastic pass and a better catch.
That'll be your nice hands catch of the game, brought to you by Retroid. Put a Retroid handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it, SFL 4K 23. 1st and 10 from inside the 9. Hand off to Bacon right side, pushing Meerkat, and rolls down just to the goal line. Just short of the touchdown. Well, we might see Fort Worth challenge this one.
Yeah, and this is very close. Again, just sort of riding the momentum. You know, when you're this fast and this agile, you know, sometimes when you're tackled, you're just like, well, I still am moving forward. Let's just ride it out. Let's ride the wave to shore and see what happens.
I think they might just go with this here. 2nd and goal, a foot away from pay dirt. Dunhill to Bacon, right side, dives into the end zone. Touchdown, sizzling Bacon action.
Well, it's not that difficult when you're that close to the goal line and you have a hot running back who's having a good game. Just hand the ball off and they're gonna make a play. We saw JZ Bacon have a fantastic drive and then makes the athletic play at the end there.
So far, that's the 2nd touchdown of the game for Bacon, 19th of the season. Ooh, one more and he'll hit that 20 spot. And the kick from Rose up and through. And that'll make it 21-0 with 8:08 to go here in the 2nd quarter. If you are liking the game so far, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. The SFL produces over 400 events a year. There is no one else that gives you more football. Don't miss a minute of SFL or SFLM action and help the channel grow through your support. Fort Worth so far has scored on 3 consecutive drives after their first one went 3 and out. Minnesota having a struggle here. They've lost one on the fumble, lost one on the pick, and then another 3 and out punt as man will bring it out into some decent Minnesota territory.
And after Minnesota have kind of struggled on these kickoffs to get the ball out, really managed to get it into the best. I would have to look back at the numbers, but I do believe their best starting field position of the day.
Yeah, so far, this would be the 2nd best they've had. As they started at their own 36.
Yeah, the first drive where they fumbled, they got out to the 36.
Yeah, that's where they started out there. So this will be 2nd best. Man in motion over to the right side. They'll have 2 and 2 for first down. Reno to throw, facing a bit of a rush, gets it away, has the deep ball, and it's incomplete, intended for Jay Taylor.
Man, and the pressure was coming for Johnny Reno in that moment. I mean, it makes a good decision down the field, and just a bit unlucky that there's double coverage all over his receiver.
They'll go split back, split receiver for 2nd and 10. Hart going in motion to the left side. He's got a man in pursuit. That is Ben Stone covering him. Reno to throw, facing the blitz, gets it away, has the catch made to Deezer Powell, who gets just enough to cross that line for 10 yards and a first down.
All these receivers in this game not afraid to reach. Again, we saw the spectacular kind of layout catch the center fielder grab earlier, and again, just kind of realizing where that ball's going to go and reaching out, creating a basket for it to land in.
Brings Minnesota up to their own 45. First down, 2 receivers right. They're going to hand off to Hart, who gets caught right at the line of scrimmage. They're going to call it a loss of 1. He just had nowhere to go on that play as J.L. Browning makes the stop.
And it's really kind of been, tough going all game long, just really stuffing that middle space up. Colin Hart only 8 yards on 7 attempts so far.
Reno having some time to get it away, has the route, gets it to Jay Taylor again. That's catch number 2 for him. And again, will push ahead for 11 yards and a first down.
And that is such a well-read pass. Again, realizing that when you have this space in the pocket, you can just read these routes. And again, it's that little in route towards the middle of the field that kind of dissects the double coverage.
Minnesota back now in enemy territory. First and 10, 2 receivers right, split back set. They'll pitch it out to Hart, right side. Shakes one, but gets wrapped up immediately by John Nevels, and will only go down for a gain of 2.
Yeah, they are all over Colin Hart. I mean, whenever these run plays are called, it feels like there is pressure right up at the line.
Yeah, this is a tough team to go against. They're, this defense 6th in the league in tackles for loss with 66 prior to tonight. Reno to throw on second down. We'll check it down. Hart gets a few yards to get to about the 40, maybe the 39-yard line to bring up 3rd and 6. So big 3rd down coming up. Hopefully be able to keep this drive alive, because they would be probably a bit out of field goal range. It is Mickey, but at the same time, you want to make sure you got a good shot at it. Reno to throw on 3rd down. Shakes away from the pressure. Gets it out. Will be completed to Kalia, and he's short of the line to gain.
And that was just such a good job of making that play happen by the offensive line. You saw the pressure coming for Johnny Reno and able to push the block away. And they're going for it on 4th and 1. Wow, very aggressive play by Minnesota today.
They just need 1 yard. The stockyard getting loud, though, hoping for a stop. Handoff up the middle. Hart gets the first down and pushes up to the 29. Ends up with a 5-yard gain.
Wow, well, Colin Hart has not been putting up numbers in bundles like you would usually expect from him. But again, he gets up the middle here, just kind of gets a couple yards and falls across the line. And new life for Minnesota on this drive.
Great 4th down conversion to keep it going. 1st and 10 from the 29. Reno to throw, stepping back, up the middle, tried to go for the big play and gets Deezer Powell right out the 10-yard line. 1st and goal to go.
While they call passing an aerial attack, but a very literal instance of it here. Ball lofted up into the air by Johnny Reno, and it's a receiver against 2 defensive backs. The receiver gets to it first in this instance.
This will be a crucial one here in the red zone. Minnesota 5th in the league in red zone touchdowns with a 90% conversion rate inside the 20. Reno to throw, facing the pressure. Casts it off to Hart. And it'll be about a loss of 1 there with that tackle from Adam Leach.
Yeah, and it's a good idea, the check down, but unfortunately able to respond to it appropriately.
Now 2nd down and goal. They call it a 1-yard loss. Twins right, split back set. Reno quick steps, gets away. A little bit of a wobbler, but gets the catch. Down to, again, about the 10 there on that catch to Kalia, so it'll be 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, man, and really tough for Minnesota to get around Fort Worth. I mean, they got that fantastic 4th down conversion, but It's so tough down here in the red zone.
Yeah, and this red zone defense for Fort Worth is very tough as well. First in fewest red zone scoring percentage at 80%. Reno to throw for 3rd and goal. Gets away, goes for the end zone. Incomplete, overthrew his target. Taylor was there, but just a little too much of a bullet. So that will probably bring out Mickey for the field goal.
Yeah, a very quick trigger, and again, a route that would, in theory, get around this double coverage here that's kind of materializing in the end zone. But again, I mean, you've got a defense that, if for Fort Worth, that is leading the league in terms of interceptions, 20 coming into this game, and second best in passing defenses with 45. So it can be very scary to throw into that if you're a quarterback, no matter how talented you are.
13-play drive with a Mickey little field goal is good. So that'll put the first points on the board for Minnesota. They'll now trail it 21-3 with 3:47 to go. But Minnesota got to feel good about that. They did get points, and the first of hopefully many.
Yeah, and I mean, it's still a lot of football to play. I mean, you look at the odds lines for this game, Fort Worth, and that goes out again. And Fort Worth favored by 11.5 points. I mean, Minnesota have managed to keep it a little closer than the odds makers would have had them to do, I think.
I think you're right about that. And if Minnesota is able to keep things going and get momentum back in their favor, I think they could very easily cut that deficit down in the 3rd quarter and probably even have a chance to win it in the 4th. After the touchback, it's 1st and 10 for Fort Worth on their own 20. Pitch over to the right side for Bacon. He gets some blocks. He gets over to the 29-yard line where he's wrapped up by Stephen Black. Would be good for a 9-yard gain.
And a tale of two rushing attacks, really, because whereas it's been so difficult for Colin Hart, I mean, you see the blocks that are being thrown. 1 block, 2 block just creates all of the space in the world for JZ Bacon.
You see Bacon right now 15 for 96. He's almost at that 100-yard mark, and we're not even at the end of the first half yet. Heavy split back set. They'll hand it off up the middle, and that's going to be Alexander, the fullback, who's going to get about 5 on that play. Getting his turn at the rock, and it's good for a first down.
Yeah, and that's why you have the fullback even in this modern era. You hand the ball off, they pick up a few yards. Sometimes they get all the way down the field, but for the most part, you count on them to pick up those few yards in the and short situations and doing his job to perfection there.
Pushes it to the 35-yard line for first down. Hand off to Bacon. He'll get a couple of yards. An extra push on that play from Stephen Black. A bit of a momentum push there to give Bacon a gain of 6.
Yeah, and that's really the thing too, is that, even when you're stopping JZ Bacon, it feels like he finds ways to generate momentum as he's being tackled. I mean, just crossing the 100-yard mark as a result.
Yeah, he's closing in on 1,500 for the season. Another big gain there, another 7-yarder for JZ, and that will put him to about 110 on the day.
And yards per his yards per carry is up at 6.5. It busted off a 20-yard run earlier in this game, and he's really been, I think, the workhorse for this Fort Worth offense so far.
He really has. Coming into today, he was only about 100 yards off from the passing total. He's going to break off another big run here. Stays on his feet down to the 37-yard line. First down, Fort Worth. 1,500 yards on the season for JZ Bacon.
And you see exactly how he's managed to do it. These great blocks opening up pretty much as wide a space as real alleyways for him to run through.
And that's going to take us up to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Fort Worth up 21-3. Holding a comfortable lead and hoping to score on this next drive. As I said, Bacon right now 127 on the ground, 28 through the air with a touchdown. Dunhill so far 71 on his 5 completions. Garrett going in motion over to the left side for 1st and 10. 3 receivers set. Dunhill hands off to Bacon right side. He gets met by Meerkat and gets brought down by Stephen Black for a gain of 3.
Yeah, and that is really something that Minnesota has struggled to do is to stop Jay-Z Bacon when there's a little bit of space that opens up in the middle.
Yeah, already averaging nearly 7 per carry on the ground. He has been very reliable for Fort Worth. And they will go to him again as he pushes up the right side. Will get around a couple of defenders, but gets met up there by number 24, Cody Griffin. They'll bring up 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, and a big scenario for Minnesota here to get the stop. I mean, of course, you always want the ball in your hands, but could potentially push them back away from a field goal here.
3rd and 2. They'll hand it off. Bacon up the middle. Going to be hit before he crosses the line to gain. That will force a timeout from Minnesota. Daniel Wright making the stop. That was the 6th play in a row that they went to Jay-Z Bacon on the ground. 7th overall for the drive. It was all run all the time, and it's going to end up with an attempt from Amelia Rose.
Yeah, 8 touches and 51 running yards on that play.
That kick on its way and good. Now to make it 24-3 with just a hair over a minute to go here in the first half. Nice kick there from about 45 out.
And again, it really kind of exemplifies what we talked about with Jay-Z Bacon being kind of the workhorse. 7 touches, 42 yards, 42 rushing yards, I should say, 0 passes and 0 passing yards. So they are really counting on him heavily in the offense.
Yeah, he has been kind of the bell cow of this offense so far tonight. Kick return by Mam. Going to roll up the middle to about the 28-yard line. Minnesota will have 1 timeout, 57 seconds left. And if there's any solace, they will get the ball to start the second half, but they really would love to get some points and hopefully maybe get this back down to a 2-score game.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a timeout and they've got, they can set themselves up in a good formation and hurry back to the line, but yeah, they would love at least a field goal here.
They're going to hand it off to Hart here on 1st down, who will stay up for about 5. Well, they might be content with just going to the tunnel at this point.
Yeah, and I certainly see the logic of that too, but I do think, this is going to be one of those games that comes down to a few points and you're going to really kick yourself. I feel like if you're like, well, man, I really wish I had gone for that extra field goal at the end of the first half.
We go to Hart again, and he's only going to get up to the 35. They'll take their final timeout. So none left here for Fort Worth. Hopefully be able to get themselves a conversion and keep this drive going. 3rd down and 3. They're going to a heavy set, split backs. They might be going for the run. No, Reno going to throw. Gets it away. And the catch is made! Vincalia got away down to the 43-yard line. And I think this will be a Fort Worth timeout.
Yeah, that's interesting. But maybe if you're Fort Worth, you lead the league in interceptions. You lead the league in pick sixes. So you're like, well, okay, you move down the field. Now do it again. Do it again. Give us another chance.
I think they might have also wanted to call a timeout so they could reset their defense. Because if they got caught in that, they'd be in big trouble. Reno with the throw. Tipped in the air. Incomplete, intended for Powell. That'll be deflected away by Aiden Davis.
Yeah, that was not even off his fingertips. That was off of the top of his palm. I don't think he can get closer to an interception and not pull it down.
So 2nd down and 10, 19 seconds left here in the first half. Minnesota hoping to get this back down to within 2 scores. 3 wide in the I formation with the nickel pack. Reno to throw, checks it down to Hart. He gets away from one, gets a bit of a block. He'll get down to the 38-yard line.
Oh, they're
They'll
gonna
hurry
have to.
back to the line.
Yeah, they're gonna have to spike the ball here, or
Yeah,
go
clock
for
is
it.
running. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. They're gonna run the play. Hart gonna go nowhere on that one. I don't know about that. They probably could have spiked the ball and had a chance for a Hail Mary.
Yeah, or a very long field goal. That's a bit of a head scratcher.
But that'll take us over to the end of the first half. So far, it is a 24-3 lead for the Fort Worth Toros, hoping to cruise their way to a 9-0 start. As we take a look at the first half stats, Minnesota was really good in the air, but Fort Worth was really good on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny Reno, 13 for 17 and over 100 yards, but really, JZ Bacon has just been terrorizing this Minnesota defense. Looking at his stats, 136 yards, his longest 19-yard run.
Yeah, it's
a receiving touchdown and a running touchdown.
It's insane because you see the player of the half right now, definitely JZ Bacon, 21 for 134. Got that receiving touchdown as well. As we said, he's the bell cow of this offense, and it's going to be up to Minnesota to adjust and try to put a stop to Bacon in the second half if they want any chance to get back into this ball game.
Yeah, and really, first half, second half, all you got to look at is, we're behind. First half didn't go our way, and then you gotta look at it as a new opportunity to succeed, and that's really all there is to it. You just got to put that first half behind you.
And they will start the second half here off with a touchback. Minnesota going to put it out to their own 20-yard line. So Minnesota did get some points in the first half, but they've had 5 possessions, including the one that ended the half. So not including that, 2 of them have been turnovers, 1 of them has been punted, and that last one going for the field goal. They really need to get something cooking here in the second half. They're going to start 4 wide receivers, 3 bunch to the right. They're going to pitch it out to Hart. They get some blocking assignments there, pushes ahead for the first down to the 34-yard line. Nice gain of 14 yards on the play.
Yeah, well, and to your point, part of why I think it's kind of been a struggle for Minnesota is the fact that they've only had 2 possessions where they started outside of the 30. You've had 2 touchbacks and I should say 3 touchbacks now, and it just really makes it so hard to succeed on a drive when you don't start in the ideal position.
It does give them a little more comfort after this play, after that last play, 1st and 10. Bit of a rush coming here for Reno. Gets away from it, has time, sets it down, and we'll get it to Jason France, who comes around with a block and gets just enough for 10 yards and a first down. First catch for the tight ends for Minnesota tonight.
Yeah, and that's a good job by Johnny Reno. Just sort of stands up in the pocket, realizes that here's all this space. The linebackers are sitting around waiting for a pick, and Jason France is kind of there. Let's throw to Jason France, and he's got space now because these linebackers are committed to this pick.
Good 10-yard gain to get it to just outside the 45. 3 wide and an I formation for 1st and 10. Powell is going to be switched out and goes in motion over to the left. And Remington James in pursuit. Only the nickel pack here for the defense, but they're going to rush the linebackers. Colin Hart will be met at the line by J.L. Browning, and it'll only go down for a gain of 1.
Man, and they are all over Colin Hart this game. I mean, it has been nearly impossible for him to run. 36 yards, but coming on 13 attempts.
Yeah, that long one he had earlier was the longest he had so far in the day with just 14. That is not a good one. Vinson with the loss on that check down pass. So now it's going to be 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, and this is what Fort Worth does that just kills other teams, no matter how well they game plan. It's just the defense just bullies your offense, and then they convert it to points on the other side of the ball.
Reno going for the throw. Needs to get away from the pressure. Does so, and it's tipped away. Incomplete. Jay Taylor, the intended receiver. But that was a great breakup on there from Tavius Gordon.
Oh, and that's we've seen Johnny Reno do a pretty good job of being calm and staying in the pocket and making good decisions, but forcing him to make a very quick decision. And this is going to be really good field position for Fort Worth.
Mini Milolo to kick this one away on the punt. And this will be, there'll be a bit of a flag here. Might have been some early contact by the special teams unit. They'll give them a few more yards. Yeah, so that'll be a few more yards for Fort Worth. They'll start their drive on their own 37-yard line. Let's head back to Indy with a game break with Cam.
Thank you, Ethan. I don't know how Colin Pierce fit this in here. All the way into the corner, Ryan Roosevelt with a touchdown. Indy 44 offensive plays in the first half. Tulsa 19. Tie game at 7 going into the break. Back to you in Fort Worth.
Thanks, Cam. Locked up in a tight one there in Indianapolis, and you know Minnesota's keeping an eye on that one as Bacon runs out for another 6-yard gain.
Yeah, and a bit of an unusual start to this drive. Fair catch interference, not a penalty that you see called very often at all.
Yeah, usually, you usually try to give yourself the halo, as it were, if we were playing up north in Canada, but you can't just run right into the guy when he wants to catch the ball. Run for Bacon up the middle is going to go nowhere. Oof. Nice stop from Miles Gibson there for no gain. You bring up 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, and understandable frustration by Jay-Z Bacon. That's really not the kind of thing that he's had to deal with. Just that run play just gets blown up almost instantaneously.
3rd and 4 from the 42. 2 receivers, offset eye. Going to be a rollout for Dunhill, who will throw it out, and it will be completed to Garrett Jr., who will go into enemy territory, brought down at the Minnesota 43.
And somehow gets around this coverage. I mean, we're gonna see here that it's a case of somehow. I mean, double coverage is all over him. I'm not quite really sure how this ball manages to be placed so perfectly, but placed perfectly it is, and that is just a fantastic play.
Dunhill so far 6 for 8 on the day, 2 touchdowns for 86 yards. He's already at a 149 in his QBR. Bacon on the run to the right side will only get about 5.
Yeah, and it's really been the Jay-Z Bacon show. I mean, I can't say that I blame them, for continuing to put the ball in his hands, and especially when the game plan for Minnesota involves sending pressure at the quarterback. I mean, well, let's take away the chance of that causing mistakes at all.
Bacon getting another run there. It's going to get stopped just short of the line. Going to bring up 3rd down and inches to go. Fort Worth again pushing their way down the field. They have not had to deal with any sort of special teams 4th down situations since that first drive when they went 3 and out. That was the only time they've had to kick it away to the other team. Handoff for Bacon will get the first, go to the 30, 25, shakes one, and it'll be pushed down to the 22-yard line. He is brought back hard to the turf, but it is enough to give them the 1st down.
Yeah, I mean, that's a remarkable statistic that you just mentioned. I mean, and again, really to kind of illustrate the point that we're talking about, there's been 1 pass play on this drive for 15 yards. Meanwhile, Jay-Z Bacon has equaled that exact yardage total, so he really has shouldered a lot of offensive burden.
Check down on the pass to Bacon. Going to get wrapped up at the line, but keeps moving. Rolls around to the 10 and down into the 8-yard line for 1st and goal. We're talking about those rushing yards. That 160 that he has so far today is going to give him 2,903 yards on his career. So he might be close to hitting 3,000 tonight.
I was going to say, I mean, it's the way he's going. Certainly, it's possible. Gonna hit that 3-century mark. It is very much within the realm of possibility.
He would need 257 yards on the ground. He's already at 160, so he just needs 90 more to do it. And that'll be a push up the middle. That was not Bacon. That was the secondary running back, picking up a couple of yards. So that would be second down and goal on the 2-yard gain.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if JC Bacon's over on that sideline getting some oxygen. I mean, he's been pretty much running nonstop, at least since the start of the third quarter, definitely most of the second as well.
I think that is him in the backfield there. They will go to him right side, gets caught up at the line of scrimmage. And Cody Griffin makes the stop right at that line, so no gain.
Yeah, man, and a really tough opportunity, a really big opportunity for Minnesota to toughen up and get this stop. They have done a better job responding to JZ Bacon, you know, as much as you can say better with how fantastic his night has been.
Dunhill facing the blitz. It's covered. Throws it to an open man. Touchdown, Fort Worth. Touchdown, Cade Stevens.
Man, and it is so ridiculously difficult to stop Fort Worth on offense tonight. I mean, we're going to see it again here. Just the fact that he gets around the coverage. He runs his receiver into the coverage, but again, he's 2 or 3 steps out away from being fully covered, and so Marcus Dunhill picks up another fantastic touchdown pass.
Ends up being a 10-play drive, 63 yards as the kick from Amelia Rose is up and is good. That'll make it 31-3 with 3:51 to go here in the third quarter. Now available free to download, you can play the SFL video game on the go on the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, an emulator for 4K 23 in the palm of your hand. Order your Retroid today at GoRetroid.com, search SFL, and download our mod at simulationfl.net/4K23. Retroid, the official console of the SFL. This kick up in the middle of the end zone. Taylor going to bring it out. He'll get up to the 20, 25, and up to the 26-yard line. So a little more positive field position compared to the last few times they've gotten control of the ball.
Yeah, and it's the statistic that we keep mentioning. I mean, these deep end zone kicks are really making it difficult for them to get into starting field position. I mean, you know, the touchbacks are one thing, but they only have of their, I believe now 6 drives, only 2 where they've started at the 30 or better.
This one got a little bit close to it, but just a few yards short, but they'll start at the 26, 1st and 10. Twins to the left. Reno going to throw against the rush. Has an open man up the middle. Will be completed to Vincalia. We'll get out to about the 43.
Yeah, and a good job holding on there by the Fort Worth secondary, because this is just a pass that is in a very dangerous position if you're Fort Worth. And again, it's a good job by Adam Leach to stay with the play, but man, Vince Calia is threatening to have a bit of a breakout performance starting in this third quarter.
He's already 5 for 5 on those targets, so he might be the most popular decision for Reno right now. They'll hand off to Hart, who is just having a lot of trouble getting anything going here today. Gets no gain on that play.
I mean, he is struggling. There's really no other way to put it. But, you know, when you have a young kind of hotshot quarterback who's having a decent performance, I think it does kind of open up your options, and you can continue to trust in your running back who's struggling a bit.
Reno going to pass here on second down. It's incomplete, intended for Taylor. Just could not hold on to it as the play is broken up by Aiden Davis.
Yeah, tough to catch that with the coverage, but another instance of a ball just kind of thumping off of someone's outstretched palm.
Now to 3rd and 10. They're going to go 5 wide. Quarter defense for Fort Worth. They have no linebackers in the box. Only 4 on the rush for Reno. Needs to get it away, and it's bobbled out and somehow caught by Jason France, who will get down to the 45 of Fort Worth and a first down.
Yeah, that was exceptional. I mean, it really does not get more of a hit as you throw. I mean, just rolling end over end diagonally in the air, and somehow, some way, gets all the way into Jason France's hands. That is just a small miracle of physics that I think we've witnessed.
Incredible catch there from France, getting his second one of the day that goes for 12 yards. That is his longest so far in the contest. But it does keep the drive alive for Minnesota. They're facing the blitz. Reno throws out right side. It'll be completed to Deezer Powell, who will get just about 9.
Yeah, and this has been a much improved passing performance by Minnesota. I mean, Johnny Reno has been no slouch, well over 150 yards at this point, 163, and really threatening this Fort Worth defense in a way that they have not been able to do so far this game.
One of the few times they've been threatened closing in on the red zone. Taylor going in motion to the right side for 2nd and 1. He's going to set up as a second tight end. They will hand it off to Hart, who goes up the left side and stopped down by J.L. Browning for a short loss. So it'll be 3rd and 1 coming up.
And that has been just so tough for Colin Hart, and it's really been sending the linebackers. I mean, both Sonny Sky and J.L. Browning really coming in for these blitzes to stop the run.
Hart trying to force his way in again, and he's going to be stopped short again. This time stopped by Luther Gond. It'll bring up 4th and inches as the stockyard was getting a little loud on that play.
And that's so cool. I mean, Minnesota have been aggressive. They're not even going to challenge for it. Like I was going to say, they're straight up going to go for it. I respect this.
Well, I don't think they can. They are out of challenges, so they can't do it even if they wanted to. Handoff for Hart will get enough for the first down. Gets only 2 or 3 yards, but another big 4th down conversion for Minnesota. They keep the ball in their hands.
I mean, just the pure brass on Axel Raven to go for it aggressively twice on 4th down, and it's worked out twice for them.
I mean, I know there's that theory that you should pretty much just go for it as much as you can, but I don't think.
I mean, yeah, if you had this kind of success rate, I mean, I would say, yeah, you'd see that at pretty much every level of the game.
Powell went in motion to the left side. They will give it to Powell. He gets just enough. He gets enough to get inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. That's a 14-yard gain and a first down.
And you're starting to run out of time a little bit if you're Minnesota, but this has been just such a drastic improvement. Colin Hart still not quite able to get the space to run that he needs, but again, such a fantastic job by Johnny Reno to run these routes around the field and exploit gaps in the coverage that his receivers create.
Reno to go for the throw on first down. Time winding down. He's going to run it out himself and slides down to about the 11-yard line. Gets a gain of 7.
Johnny Reno, one of those quarterbacks that we know really loves to kind of stand up and gunsling in the pocket, but tucks and runs there, and it works out for them. Minnesota, don't look now, but Minnesota are trying to make this comeback.
They trail it 31-3. You're watching the SFL presented by AP Music. Time to read us our rights.
The Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
So here we go. Quarter number 4 about to get underway here. Ethan Muslin, Alden Bleeker here on the call tonight. Getting some great stats here from Dwayne Schindler and Greg Soto, doing a great job in the truck. As there's another run for Colin Hart. Oh, and we have an injury on the field. E.K. Vinson is down for Fort Worth. That's going to be a tough blow for their linebacking core.
Yeah, not only have the linebackers been such a part of stopping Colin Hart on the attack. I mean, E.K. Vinson has there's no other way to put this, been a huge part of their game. 6 solo tackles and a tackle for loss.
Yeah, he's been the big one alongside J.L. Browning. He's got 4 tackles, 2 assists, and 3 tackles for loss. So a tough blow there from the top tackler in the linebacking core. Well, hopefully he'll be okay to come back in some point. Callia going to go in motion over to the right side here for 3rd and 1. Fort Worth still leading Minnesota by 28. Handoff, Hart managing to push, and no, he's short. Another stop from Luther Gond, and it's 4th and inches for the legend.
If only you had a challenge if you're Minnesota, because again, and they're challenging it. I love this challenge so much.
That you are correct in that, because I think it was Fort Worth that had that first challenge, and then Minnesota does have one left. So they're going to use this one. And we'll take a retroactive look at this play, brought to you by Retroid. Get your SFL console at GoRetroid.com, and I think he might have gotten it.
Yeah, I think he's across the line here. We'll have to see. He's up, he's up, he's up. Oh, that might just be
close. Here's the call. No, the play stands. He's short. So that is the final challenge for Minnesota. They are now down 1 timeout. It's going to be 4th and inches left to go, and I think they've got Mickey out for the field goal.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. I mean, Axel Raven has not been afraid to go for it on 4th down, but yeah, very wisely choosing not to push their luck here.
Be a 25-yard attempt from near the left hash. Good snap hold. Kick on its way, and it is good. And that'll make it 31-6 with 9:44 to go here in the 4th quarter. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. Minnesota getting a few points there as this ball is going to be brought out by Cade Stevens. He'll bring it up to the 20, 25 to the 29-yard line. So the 28-point lead now down to 25. Still a 4-score game for the Toros, who are looking to hopefully drain out the clock and coast their way to 9-0.
Yeah, and that's really the big thing if you're Minnesota, is that the clock is your enemy. And, you know, it feels like just every tick of that clock is a cannon firing just over your shoulder, getting closer and closer to torpedoing your hopes in this game.
Fort Worth starting on their own 29. They're going to put a man in motion to the left. And we'll go in man coverage with that set. Dunhill on the draw to Bacon. We'll put it out to about the 36. That will go down for a gain of 8.
Yeah, and a good job running this here for Jay-Z Bacon. I would be surprised. I would be incredibly surprised if we see a single pass from Fort Worth this drive. Not only has Jay-Z Bacon just performed fantastically, but again, you're trying to drain 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes off the clock in a game where most possessions have been around a minute to 2 minutes.
Second down with 2 to go. I formation, 2 tight ends. You see they're already draining it down almost to 9 minutes now. Bacon going to get the first down to about the 42. So he'll get about 5.5 on that one.
Yeah, and again, if you're Fort Worth, I mean, there's really no reason to diverge from this plan, you know. Minnesota have done well responding to the run in the second half, but again, you know, you just got to manage the clock and just take away as much opportunity from Minnesota to make this comeback.
Yeah, and keep your eye on Bacon. He's about 84 yards away from 3,000 in his career. That one just goes nowhere as he is brought down by Miles Gibson. All for good on Fort Worth's side. Even if they gain 0 or even a couple of yards, as long as the clock is running, they'll be able to cruise along to a win. Handoff Bacon onto the right side and gets caught in traffic. Oh, and planted down short of the sticks. Gets up being 3rd and inches left to go.
Yeah, I didn't see the number on the back of that shirt, but someone just planted Jay-Z Bacon with the Arn Anderson special with the spine buster there.
The old spine on the pine, as it were. Third down and a postage stamp to go. They'll go to Bacon again up the middle. He'll easily get it. Pushing down to the 43. So another first down, another 4-yard gain, and it's going to be pretty much all eyes on Jay-Z Bacon as he's closing in on 3,000 for the career.
Yeah, absolutely. And, not only just such an exceptional player and, one of those players that's been around the league and, a name that you can recognize just by how nice they've been, how well they've treated other people, but just really dedicated to putting in the time, getting these progressions in, and really has earned those 3,000 yards, I would say.
As he gets another 12 on that play, that's going to put him over 200 yards on the day.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not coming all that explosively. 33 yards, 201 rushes, only averages out to be about 6 yards. But what you've also got to look at is the fact that he also has 42 yards receiving on 2 receptions, and so it really works out to be like 250 yards of total offense.
Incredible sight here. Is Bacon going to get the ball again, and he'll get another 3 to go on that one. He's now 53 yards away from 3,000.
Yeah, and just as much as that clock is counting down for Fort Worth, I mean, certainly all the more reason to keep handing the ball off to him is to give this fantastic player who's put in so much dedicated service to the SFL get him that record.
Absolutely, another handoff. He's caught in the backfield here. That'll be a loss of 2. So that's going to set him back just a little bit. I think that was Mark Mello or Buster Johnson on that play. So bring up 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, man, and this drive was really starting to flow, and now Minnesota seems like they maybe have found the antidote here.
Might be a bit too late, though, now with 6 minutes left. Dunhill fakes the handoff, needs to get it away. Has a man open, completed to Charlie Baker inside the 10. First and goal to go on a 22-yard strike.
I mean, it's kind of uncanny. Just when Jay-Z Bacon, you think the run is starting to dry up. Well, here's the pass coming in from Marcus Dunhill being like, well, okay, here's plan B.
Yeah, great. And Dunhill's been amazing. As you see there, only thrown the ball 11 times, but he's completed 9 of them, 3 of them for touchdowns. He's got a QBR right now of 154.4. Like, they are just using what they need. First and goal from the 8. Split backs, 3 wide receivers. Pitch over to Bacon, left side. He's caught at the line of scrimmage. No gain there.
Yeah, and really, I do think Minnesota have finally figured out the remedy here, which is you got to send the pressure and you got to load this play up in the backfield before the space can develop and before you really give the opportunity for Jay-Z Bacon to find the space.
2nd down, hands off to Bacon again. Can he get through the traffic? He'll get a little bit before Daniel Wright lays him down for 1. We'll bring up 3rd and goal to go.
Yeah, and this would be a huge stop for Minnesota. I mean, again, time running is starting to become a factor, starting to run low, but it really is a stop that you've got to get.
Absolutely. 3rd and goal to go. They will go for the fake. Dunhill to throw. As a man in the middle will be completed, but short of the goal line. Stephen Hacker got that catch for a good gain of about 5. It'll end up being 4th and goal to go.
Yeah, it would still be a fairly remarkable comeback, but getting the stop, forcing them to take the field goal, really would be a huge step in the correct direction.
The kick here for Amelia Rose will be 17. It'll be basically an extra point. It is up, and it is good. That will make it 34-6 with 4:03 left to go in the 4th quarter. Fort Worth has scored on every drive except for their first one when they went 3 and out.
Man.
After that, it has been all points all the time for the Toros.
I mean, it really does not get better than that. I mean, just Jay-Z Bacon and this passing attack have really been so lethal. 132 passing yards for Marcus Dunhill, a hat trick of touchdowns. Jay-Z Bacon over 200 yards, and as we said, approaching that third century mark. A rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. I mean, if there was a third category of touchdowns, I think that would be maybe the only way that his performance could be more exceptional is to get that kind of hat trick. Can we slot him in on defense and get him a pick six?
Yeah, I mean, that would be the only way they really could do that. Hart going in motion over to the right side. They'll have 5 receivers for 1st and 10. 3 to the left, 2 to the right, quarter pack for the Toros. Reno with time will get it away to Taylor, who will bring it down to the 43, and they will go no huddle.
Yeah.
Try to get at least some points.
Right, you're down 1 timeout already. You really got to be very conscious of how you're using the clock here.
Reno on the quick strike, gets it out to the right side. That's to Vincalia for another 1st down. That gets it to the Fort Worth 41.
And I think this is a very good formation that they found themselves in.
Oh, but not that time. Reno's down for a loss of 5. It's Jerry Degon who got the sack. So both Gons getting their licks in on the quarterback. Quick strike here can take Taylor. We'll get back down to the 39. Now 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, and really content to hurry back to the line and effectively use the 2-minute warning as a 4th timeout.
Bit of a blitz here up the middle. Tipped away, incomplete. That one knocked away. That looked like Adam Leach there knocking that one out. So it'll be 4th and 7. Minnesota obviously going to have to go for it here.
Yeah, I was going to say, minute by minute, this gets more difficult. But I think if you're punting, that's basically, you're tipping over your king. You're putting your hand on the deck, to put it in Yu-Gi-Oh terms. You're conceding if you do that.
It'll be a fake. Reno rolls out right. Has a man out. Oh, it's intercepted! Picked off on the play. Back down to the Fort Worth 49-yard line. That was right, making the grab, and Fort Worth has just about sealed it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real backbreaker, and this is the kind of thing that Fort Worth has done well all season. As we said, coming into this game, league best in combined defensive touchdowns, 6 pick sixes, a league best 20 combined interceptions, and they've managed to put even more on the board today in terms of interceptions.
Yeah, they have just had an amazing performance on the defensive side of the ball. 9 tackles for losses, the 2 sacks. It's been an amazing run, as Bacon's going to get him another 4 yards, as we're going to keep an eye on him. He's now 50 yards away from 3,000 career rushing yards.
Yeah, that's really the big thing to watch. And he's been, as we keep mentioning, I don't think there's a sufficient combination of nouns, adjectives, and verbs to describe how important he's been to this Fort Worth, what is shaping up to be a win so far.
Yeah, the win here would put them to 9-0 and would put them a game and a half ahead of Alamo City. With the Alamo City game, I believe they are still pending. Yeah, they're going to be facing Houston later tonight. That'll be over at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific here on the SFL YouTube. So with the win here, Fort Worth they're going to have to run, do something to keep an eye on Alamo City, because they're going to have to win here to keep it up. That's going to take us up to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go in Fort Worth. It is all Toro all the time. They're leading at 34-6. As Bacon's hoping to get himself to a 3 millennium mark. Right now he's about 46 yards away, and you see they're only at the 43. So it won't happen this drive. There's the handoff, and he will push ahead for about 4. They'll call it 3. Good for a 1st down. Timeout taken by Minnesota.
Yeah, and to very briefly recap the playoff scenarios with the implications if this result should hold. if Minnesota loses this game, the winner of the other game in our block between Indianapolis and Tulsa would take the lead in the Central Division. Fort Worth and Alamo City are both into the playoffs, at least in the sense that they have both guaranteed at worst a wild card a wild card round game. And perhaps interestingly, the very last game on the schedule for Fort Worth and Alamo City is against each other. And so we've already seen both of these teams, both of these coaches clearly have that game circled on the calendar, thinking that that is going to be the finale of this Southern Division title
Yeah.
race.
Absolutely, because if they're able to keep that half game lead, as Bacon's going to run outside and get another good chunk of yards down to the 23-yard line for that Fort Worth first down. That will more than likely seal the game. But if Alamo City can stay that one game back and stay ahead and stay one game back on Fort Worth, then you're looking at that Week 14 matchup is going to be for the division title, because whoever wins that game has the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean that's really that's as big as a playoff game. You know, you're effectively adding another playoff game to your schedule.
Yeah, and with both teams doing as well as they are, I mean, you're talking about also trying, not just getting the division. You're talking about getting a first round bye.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be able to get that time to to give yourself the day off to get things moving, as Dunhill is going to take a knee, so he will kneel out the rest of this game. So after this, JZ Bacon will now be at 2,972 yards of rushing in his career, so he will break that 3,000 mark next week, more than likely. With the win, the Toros will go to 9-0. They will be going to Portland on a bit of a West Coast swing. They'll be taking on the Fleet in Week 12. They'll go down to LA to take the Lycans next week, and then of course that big game with Alamo City Week 14. Next 3 games for Minnesota, it's going to be crucial because they need to win all 3 to get to 500. They're going to be at Las Vegas, at home against Arizona, and then on the road taking on Tulsa. So it's going to be, final few games coming up. Now with teams starting to get those playoff guarantees, it's going to be really tough to get into those to squeeze into those final few spots, as they are going to let this clock tick down all the way to 0. And it was all Fort Worth all day long. Toros come away with the win. They are now 9-0. They defeat the Minnesota Legend 34-6. It was never in doubt on this one. And just take a look at the final stats here. You got to figure player of the game has to be JZ Bacon. Nearly 230 yards on the ground.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, without a doubt. As we said, the only way that he could have been more efficient in terms of his scoring production is if he in fact was slotted in as like a cornerback and got a pick six. 229 yards on 42 attempts, a rushing touchdown long of 19, and 42 yards and a touchdown on 2 receptions is nothing to sneeze at either. As we say, both of these teams have an opportunity to kind of put their own destiny in their own hands. Minnesota had a chance to win here and then win out. A quick look into that other game in the block. Currently, Indianapolis up 21-10, and as we said, now with this loss to Minnesota, the winner of that game will take the lead in the Central Division, as that race is very tight as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a very tight one, and that's going to be really exciting to see who comes out of that pack. So once again, final score: Fort Worth 34, Minnesota 6. Don't forget, Monday night, join Cam and Stephen Hack as they break down all the action from this weekend on This Week in the SFL at 7:15 Eastern, before Jacksonville puts their season on the line against DC. Kickoff there will be at 8:15 Eastern Time. But that'll do it for us here in Fort Worth, Texas. From our partner Alden Bleeker, our statisticians, Mr. Greg Soto and Dwayne Schindler, I'm Ethan Muslin. We got a lot more SFL action coming up. Houston, Alamo City coming up later on, alongside Queen City and Baltimore. Don't want to miss that tonight. We'll see you then.